Make sure I'm out of the picture. We've got a lot of the people who are aginners. They're against Biden. They're against the drug lords. They're against everybody under the sun. Some are against Trump. Some are trying to do the best they can, but they spend their time talking about the negative. If you have 32 baseball fields, 32 teams playing in baseball, you're going to end up at the end of the year with 31 losers and 1 winner. And if you have that idea, you'll find that those people who did not end up in the top are not happy about it. That's fine. But we have a case now where our political circumstances are based entirely upon what's wrong. What do we have wrong? One candidate that I have seen was wanting to finish the wall and then was going to use the U.S. Army to drive the drug lords off the face of the earth. Now, think about it a minute, and you'll realize that that is actually a statement of a declaration of war against Mexico, where the drug lords are located. Use the U.S. Army to drive the drug lords off the face of the earth. And if they're in Mexico, then the U.S. Army has to invade Mexico. We have people who are constantly proposing a particular person as the one who has got the solution for everything. We as people have the responsibility of knowing what our problems are and solving them by determining how and when we do what we have to do. I like to think that our people are intelligent, but I find that quite often people are lazy. They take time to do what they want to do, but when it comes to determining what the problem is and determining what that problem should be, or the solution to that problem should be, they fail to think about the fact that they are responsible, and because they know what the problem is better than anybody else. I would suggest that we look closely at anybody who comes up with a negative response. Our Christian faith is based on being positive. Adam and Eve chose to decide that nakedness was wrong. And that's God's business. Unfortunately, too many people think that that's theirs. And honestly, it's not possible for us to decide whether or not a particular action is sin or not, because the situation may demand the very thing that we do not like. A man walked into the Texas University Tower one day, went to the elevator, went to the roof, broke down a door that was barricaded on the outside, turned his weapon that he carried in his hand, and shot the guy on the roof. That is pure and simple first-degree murder. But I didn't tell you everything. I didn't tell you that the man who he shot was shooting people on the streets below. He had already shot over 100, and the only way to stop him was to shoot him. You see, our idea of what's wrong may have more to do with it than you think. I have seen too many people who are pro-life saying that abortion is wrong. Now let's take a little side trip for a moment. I was an assistant manager in a department store. As I was telling the clerk how to build a display for customers to look at and hopefully to sell, the manager of the store came by, took over the administration of that thing, and told the clerk an entirely different thing. Now, I could have easily pushed hard to get my ideas across, but he was the manager, and I would have gotten myself fired. We had a face of firing when we look back at Genesis 3. Adam and Eve were told not to eat of the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of evil. Well, the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil is the knowledge of good and evil. Well, the Adam and Eve chose to disobey God, and moreover, chose to say that nakedness was evil. They got fired. They got fired, chased out of the Garden of Eden, and a guard was put at the gate, not allowing them to get back in. When we decide that abortion is evil, we are doing exactly the same thing that Adam and Eve did. And understand this, we've got to recognize that a person who chooses to make a decision that abortion is evil is doing just what Adam and Eve did. Now, our country, over a period of time, has come to a place where everybody is divided. We have one side that is pro-choice. We have one side that is pro-life. Neither is right. The situation may demand either that there be no abortion or that there be an abortion. I'm reminded all too much of Victoria, the Queen of England, whose children carried a strain of hemophilia. One of those, the son of Nicholas II of Russia, had hemophilia, and they were spending so much time taking care of their child that they couldn't take care of the country. As a result, the country rebelled, the family was killed, and we have had to deal with Russia ever since. Now, that would have allowed an abortion, but not necessarily. The purpose of an abortion has to be the good of people. But you cannot say categorically that all abortions are evil. It's important to know that we are required to look forward as to what will be improvements, not what is wrong now. Please be aware that a negative attitude always restricts. If you want to make progress, you need to change your attitude from the negative to the positive. How do we solve a problem? Well, first we have to have a problem. So what kind of a problem can you have? The first thing that you have is affordable housing. I had a college build a study of the difference between what the congressional representative for their district had from the constituents concerned. Of all the ones that mattered, affordable housing and homelessness were ones that the people were concerned with and the representative did not recognize it. Once you determine what the problem is, the next thing is what is causing the problem. The problem in this case is a single section of the Internal Revenue Service code. It sounds like it's a hard one, but it's not. It says that rental income is passive income. Now, if I am taking care of property for someone else, I am paid, and I then pay Social Security tax. Now, between the company and the name and the person, Social Security tax amounts to 13.5%. However, that is allowed to be forgotten in the case of the proprietor. He does not pay any income tax for Social Security. He does not pay Social Security. Now, this means that a person who is a landlord automatically has the ability to save 13.5% of his income and not pay taxes, that in taxes. It's a unique way for people to earn money. Unique because no one else, no other investment has that capability. If we want to provide affordable housing, we are going to have to acknowledge that the landlord has income, and that income should be taxed just as everybody else has. We're going to have to learn to look closely at the problem and find the source of the difficulty in order to come up with a solution. But it's the solution that counts, not what the problem is. Please be aware that it is important that we look at the positive side of life and quit emphasizing the negative. Thank you.